Looking for the workhorse laptop without any major flaws? And you are not willing to overpay for it? Look no more. As this laptop, in my opinion, is the best choice for a budget portable machine that can replace the desktop PC. Here are the timecodes for your convenience, so you can skip to any part you are interested in. Let's move on to the unpacking so you can see what awaits you in the box with the laptop. I am using this laptop for over 3 months now, so I will be speaking about its pros and cons in detail, at least about those that are more important in my opinion. My laptop config is Core i5 10th generation, RTX 2060 and 16GB of RAM. I decided to go with this particular model because of its optimal pricing compared to other options available here in Ukraine. Overall build quality is nice. Sure, it's nowhere near to business or premium laptops. Chassis is plastic and the screen has a little bit of wobble when you're opening the lid. Still, the laptop is pretty solid and feels good in a day-to-day use. This laptop is not that easy to carry because its weight is more than 2 kilograms. This laptop has a great selection of ports. On the left side we have Kensington lock, Gigabit Ethernet, 2 USB 3.2 and the audio jack. And on the right side we have one USB Type-C, one USB 3.2 but this time it's second generation, and one HDMI 2.0 port. Type-C port here on the laptop is quite fast, it's USB 3.2, so it supports up to 10 gigabits per second bandwidth. You will have no issues when plugging flash drives or even external HDDs or Ethernet via the dongle. But with this exact laptop, this USB Type-C port does not support display output. The power brick provides up to 180 watts of power, but it's really heavy at around 500 grams. Charging port is on the back, that is quite convenient, but you need to make sure you are pushing connector firmly until you hear a click. Keyboard has 4 zones for RGB backlight, which can be turned off and on separately, and you can set individual color for any zone. All operations are done through a handy utility provided by Acer called Nitro Sense. And this app also allows you to choose different dynamic options for RGB lights, and you can select different patterns such as pulse or scroll for keyboard backlight. Speed and direction of your selected pattern can also be controlled with the help of the app. Typing experience is decent, though keyboard feels just a bit mushy and there is not enough tactile feed. And one thing I hate about this keyboard is the placement of delete button. Let's assume you're editing a video. You want to delete something, you hit the button and nothing happens. You hit it again and again, but still the same result. And then you understand that you are pressing home instead of delete. Touchpad is not the worst, and by far not the best. I guess you won't be using it unless you are willing to punish yourself. Okay, just joking here. It's a normal touchpad for a gaming laptop, just be sure you are not clicking on the top side of it. Display is great. This laptop has 144Hz 15.6-inch IPS Full HD panel. It's quite bright, at around 300 nits. Not as bright as the MacBook Air here on the right, but it's definitely enough for indoor use. Viewing angles are great, after all there's an IPS panel. There is no visible backlight bleed, at least on the laptop I have. The colors are vivid and pretty natural, although this display covers only 62% of sRGB. Here's the noise test. I moved the microphone pretty close to the screen. You will be actually sitting further from the laptop, so take that into consideration. And by the way, you can control left and right fans separately using the software you can see on the screen. I guess you won't be playing games with fans set to max levels, so here's the game test with the cool boost mode on, and that's a bit louder than the default. And here goes the sound from inbuilt speakers, which are 2-watt stereo speakers. Here's the test footage of Acer Nitro 5 webcam. It's okay, you can hear the audio, you can see the video quality for yourselves, definitely a budget webcam, but it will be quite suitable for Zoom conferencing and something like that. And let's move to tests and benchmarks. The built-in NVMe SSD from Western Digital is quite fast. In Geekbench, this laptop scores 763 points in single-core and 3,391 points in multi-core. And now you can see the detailed information about CPU and the GPU. In Furmark GPU test, you can see that RTX2060 gets up to 67 degrees, which would be quite high for a desktop GPU, but for the laptop this result is not bad at all. In the system stress test, you can see that the CPU gets around 15 to 20% throttling, and the cooling system is close to its limits. This is the reason why I suggest picking i5 over i7 or getting AMD Ryzen CPU. And finally, in-game tests. Shadow of Tomb Raider, Ultra settings, without any screen capture or hardware monitoring software enabled. And here is the same game, same settings, but this time captured by NVIDIA Shadowplay and with hardware monitoring software enabled. As you can see, we have around 4 to 5% performance decrease due to the software used. So expect all results for next tests in this video be higher for around 4 to 5% in real life. For those of you who are not familiar, NVIDIA DLSS is the technology for deep learning super sampling carried out by AI that helps you get huge performance boost in games without losing any image quality. On one side we have DLSS turned on and on the other DLSS is turned off. Are you able to tell them apart? Sure, if you go pixel hunting you can see some detail loss, especially with the hair. But if you are just playing the game, the difference is negligible. Disassembly is easy. You just need to extract some Phillips screws, use a plastic tool or a bent card to release the clips, and then lift the cover. After that you get access to all of the components and you are free to upgrade them as you like without losing any warranty. You can swap the NVMe SSD or even add the second one. You can also add 2.5-inch hard drive or SSD with the help of the cable that came in the box, or install up to 32 GB of RAM, and you can even change the Wi-Fi card, though it doesn't make a lot of sense because this laptop supports Wi-Fi 6 and Bluetooth 5.0. Acer Nitro 5 has more than 30 configs, with 9 of them currently available at acer.com US website. So here are some points that you need to be aware of for choosing the best possible option for you. AMD Ryzen CPUs will generally be a better option than Intel unless you are overpaying more than 20% for them and you don't want to pay more than the performance boost you get from getting the better CPU. If you are going the Intel way, I would suggest you buying Intel Core i5 over the Core i7 because laptop cooling system is not that great. And with Core i7 you will get a lot of throttling and the peak performance of Core i7 CPU will actually be really close to Core i5 in this particular laptop. Speaking about the Core i5, it won't be a bottleneck in any game for any GPU up to RTX2060. And if you are getting this laptop with RTX3070, it is exclusively available with Ryzen CPU. Moving on to graphics cards. Consider buying RTX cards over GTX cards, because you will get access to NVIDIA ray tracing and DLSS technologies. And even though visual effects from ray tracing may be not that important, the DLSS technology is really a good thing to have. When buying a laptop, it's better to go for 16 GB of RAM straight from the factory, so it doesn't limit you in any way. But even if you go with 8 GB model, that is totally fine because you can upgrade in future and install up to 32 GB of RAM. Acer Nitro 5 has 2 RAM slots, both of them are upgradable. 144Hz display is really a better option than the 60Hz one, not only because it's more responsive, but it also is a bit brighter and provides you with a better color accuracy. If this video was useful to you, hit that like button, I really do appreciate that, and possibly consider subscribing because I'm planning on shooting more videos on this and other topics. If you have any questions left, feel free to ask them in the comment section down below. Many thanks for watching this video up until its end, and see you in the next videos.